Hello. So I just want to give an update on my collection real quick. I have a bunch of new books new comic books that I added, that I kind of hunted down. I just went to a convention today, actually, the Minicon. It's the same comic shop that does Heroes Con in Charlotte. They had like a Minicon today, and I went and I got some cool additions to the collection that I'm pretty happy about. And I have some new omnibuses, and at the end I might just flip through my one of my binders just to show all the Pokemon cards that I've pulled so far. All the Pokemon cards in that binder are cards that I actually pulled out of the pack. I haven't bought singles at all since I started collecting Pokemon, and it's only been a few months for me. So, all right, let's take a look. So the first book is Swamp Thing #1. I love how this book looks. It's in great condition. I got this from the Heroes Aren't Hard to Find, my LCS. They gave me a good deal on it, and it looks really good. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna get it graded. It has a pretty big ding up here, some spine issues. Like, I'm not sure if that staple is in or not, but to just like sit it on the shelf, I think it looks pretty good, and I'm pretty happy with it. And of course, this is significant because it is the first appearance of Alec Holland Swamp Thing. And, even more significant to me because I'm currently reading Alan Moore's Swamp Thing. I have all three of the absolutes, and it's been really good so far. And that's one of the runs that people say is like one of the best runs of all time. I mean, okay, everything Alan Moore writes apparently is gold, because you have like The Killing Joke, which people say is one of the best Batman stories. You have Watchmen, which people say is one of the best comics, and then you have the saga of Swamp Thing, and people say his run is also one of the best comics ever. So this is not Alan Moore. But this is the origin and the first appearance of the character that is in that iconic Swamp Thing run written by Alan Moore. That comes about 10 years after this book. This is like 72. I think that book's 82. The saga of Swamp Thing series. This is just plain Swamp Thing. But anyway, it's a first appearance, and I thought this was pretty cool, so I picked it up. All right, this next book I was looking for a while, and I asked my shop, and they had one in the warehouse, and they brought it for me, and I went ahead and bought it, and that is The Demon. It's hard to beat Jack Kirby art, so any cover Jack Kirby, and also a cover that's so like iconic looking and kind of awesome. Just for the cover alone, I like this book, but also I think the character of Etrigan is really cool, and he's very powerful. He is a member of Justice League Dark, and is this the first appearance though? Yeah, this is the first appearance of Etrigan. I guess the way it works in Sandman by Neil Gaiman, the Sandman, Morpheus, whatever, he has a million names, mentions that like, he's a rhyming demon now. Like once you've gotten to a certain level in hell, you become a rhyming demon or something like that. So no, I just thought that was like, an interesting fact. But yeah, he talks all in rhymes. He's crazy powerful. He ties into the Swamp Thing because he appears from time to time in the Swamp Thing comic, and he shows up. I believe he shows up in Hellblazer with Constantine, and this trio of characters I think is really cool. Constantine, the Swamp Thing, and Etrigan. I love everything with those three characters. So any chance to get a first appearance or origin or whatever of those characters, I'm gonna like that, and I'm gonna want to add it to the collection. All right, next book. We have Uncanny X-Men 141. So this is the first issue of Days of Future Past. This is another really highly acclaimed run, people say this is one of the best X-Men stories ever. I have read it. I think it's good. I think it was definitely really good for its time. I don't know if personally, I liked it. It's up there. I think it's a really good X-Men story, but I just don't know if personally I think this is the best X-Men story ever told. I don't know. It was, I guess when I read it, I went into it expecting it to be like, I expected it to be blown away by it because of all the hype it has around it. And I wasn't really blown away. It was good. But anyway, this is the first issue. I like collecting first issues of iconic runs. I like collecting first issues of, a writer that's really good or whatever. This is an iconic cover. You have Wolverine and Kitty Pryde. Kitty Pryde, is that Kitty Pryde? Yeah, I think so. She's one of my favorite characters of all time. She's one of my favorite X-Men, if not my favorite X-Men. So yeah, and I think there's a Scotty Young cover homage to this, and we wanted to have both. So this was a little expensive, but man, this copy is in really good condition for an early 80s book. I mean, this is so good it almost makes me want to grade it. I mean, I see a little spine tick here. This corner is not perfect. But I mean, this could be, there's a stain here. It could be in the 9s. It could be in the 8s. Not a 9.8 or anything like that, but it could be low 9s, high 8s maybe, if they don't knock it too much for this little bit of like yellowing stain right here. So yeah, that's one I'm gonna kind of keep in my back pocket and think about grading. Maybe when I go to the convention in June, I might bring this and just drop it with CGC. I have to look it up and see if it's actually worth it to get this graded. I mean, I love this cover, and if I could get this to like come back as a high grade, I'd be pretty happy with it. Yeah, we'll see. All right, next we have Batman 197. Why did I pick this up? It is a pretty cool cover. It features Batgirl and Catwoman. Catwoman in her old costume, in this green costume, and she's got the necklace and like just for that right there, this is a cool comic to own. But the fact that you kind of have both of them and they looks like they're like teaming up against Batman. This is very early Batgirl, and I love the purple, and it's just a cool iconic cover. I have no idea what happens inside of this book. I love this. The Comics Code Authority on these old books is so funny. This is just, I just thought this was very cool. And it's literally a key just because the cover features Catwoman and Batgirl. But since this is so early, I mean, you can tell by the Batman logo, this is in the 60s, late 60s. It's just a cool collection of characters for the cover. So yeah. All right. I love this character. Well, love is a strong word. I really like this character. She-Hulk. Yeah, this is the first appearance and origin of She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters. This is another book that I picked up that has, well, that's in really good condition. There's a little spine tick right there. I'm not sure if I can even show that on camera, but a little spine tick there. A bit of yellowing of the whites of this cover. A couple ticks here, but like this book is from 1980 and it really looks good. I mean, so yeah, it's great condition. It's something I would think about getting graded. And She-Hulk's just a cool character. She's still involved with the Avengers and stuff. She's still around in Marvel Comics, and this is a really cool and you know, I like first appearances, and this is one that's like affordable. You know, it's not $400 or $500. I think I got this for less than $100. So I got it at a good price, and I think the cover is really cool. It's in great condition. It's a really cool character. She just had the She-Hulk series, which some people didn't like. I kind of liked it. I thought it was kind of funny, and I thought it actually caught the tone of the comics. I think that show just didn't land because it did not fit the tone of the rest of Marvel. Like, some of the extra funny stuff in Marvel hasn't been working, like the last Thor movie, Love and Thunder or whatever. That had too much comic relief in it, and She-Hulk had a lot of comedy in it, and I don't think people like are receiving that too well in the MCU right now. But if you read She-Hulk in the comics, there is comedy. She is breaking the fourth wall. It doesn't take itself too seriously. So I actually think it kind of captured the tone of what she's like in the comic books. So I liked it. I know a lot of people didn't. Whatever. I'm an optimist. For the most part, I go into these shows and stuff, and I want them to be good. I want to like these things because I want the MCU to grow and get bigger, and I want to see these characters. I want to see more of these characters. Years ago, I never would have thought they'd make a She-Hulk show. That is like, all the big movies and stuff were for like the headliners of Marvel in DC, and now we're getting some of these side characters that are really cool, and characters that I never thought would actually get to be in a really high production value show or movie. So like I said, I want these things to succeed. I try not to be too harsh of a critic. I'm an optimist, and I liked the show, so sue me. All right, I'll show these last three really quick. Me and my wife love the Scotty Young covers, and there was a whole box at the convention today of Scotty Young. It was literally like it was a short box, but the whole thing was full of Scotty Young covers. So I picked up this one. You got Cyclops and Jean Grey. I'm sure this is funny. I haven't read it yet. What should I go with today? 90s or early 2000s? Superhero fashion rule number 17. When in doubt, go with pouches. Yeah, pouches is very 90s. Actually, now that I read that, I like this book even more because that's pretty funny. So, okay, yeah, there's that book. You got Ant-Man. This is just funny, and I love it. And what is he saying? Hold on. I can't quite make out what he's saying. Oh, well. It's a very cute cover. I know my wife's going to like that one. And then you have Guardians of the Galaxy. And this iteration, it looks like it has the Thing and Venom on the team, which is kind of interesting. You have Drax, Rocket, Star-Lord, Groot, and then Thing and Venom, which is pretty cool. I don't know whose run is this. I don't know anything about this run, but this is a pretty cool Scotty Young cover. So we collect Scotty Young covers. We have so many of them now, and I'm always happy. I'm always looking out for them when I go to the comic store or to a convention and stuff. So I think my wife's going to be pretty happy to add these to our collection. All right. Next, omnibuses. I'm going to go through these kind of quickly. But this is some of the stuff I added to my collection. I have a whole wall, and then parts of other walls are now getting filled of omnibuses. I collect and I read a lot of omnibuses. In fact, I walk every day on the treadmill, and I read one of my omnibuses while I'm walking. I walk around 3 miles, and I read like 3 or 4 issues of one of my omnis as I walk. So that's how I kind of just go through, and I read my omnis every day. So I'm actually starting to read New Mutants again, the first volume, and this is volume 3. So I've avoided spoilers. I have no idea what this character is, but I always see this when in relation to New Mutants. So I haven't got to the point yet, because I just started reading New Mutants, that this character comes into play. But it looks kind of crazy, and I know a lot of artists have drawn some really cool art with this character. So I'm excited to figure out who this character is. I do know a lot about comics, but I don't know everything. So yeah, I don't know this character. But the rest of the team seems to be the same. Cannonball, Magic, Sunspot, all these guys. Yeah. So quick look at the art. I love art from this era. Oh man, I love the smell of these omnibuses when they're new. Got Colossus in there, got the X-Men. This looks great. All right. Next, we have Young Justice. I don't know much about this at all, which is kind of exciting to me. I love this era of art. This is like early 2000s art. I like 90s a lot. I mean, it's hard. Again, I'm such an optimist. It's hard for me to say what era of art that I don't like, because there's, from every era, there's artists and there's books that I like. I really love the art. But one of my favorites is 90s, and then and early 2000s has a lot of the elements of 90s, but they started to do a lot of like digital coloring and stuff like that. Anyway, not to rant about that, but that's when this book is from, and I don't know much about these characters, and I've heard that this is pretty good. And you know, the other thing that kind of sells it for me is Peter David. I've read a lot of Peter David's Hulk, and people love that, and he does Maestro and stuff like that. So good art, Peter David, writer. How can it not be good? Wow, this is some really colorful. Quick flip through some of the art. Got Robin in there. Yeah, see, this is like when they were first starting to do the digital coloring. And in my opinion, they weren't actually that good at it yet. They use a lot of gradients and stuff. And please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what we're seeing in here. Yeah, this actually looks really cool. I can't wait to read this. And there's a lot of Red Tornado in here, which I'm kind of surprised by. I guess Red Tornado was around during this era. Okay. Now these next two, I'm super excited to have in my collection, because Spider-Man Ben Reilly 1 and 2 and Spider-Man Clone Saga 1 and 2 were like whales in the omnibus collecting hobby for a while. I think the one, like this one, Spider-Man Ben Reilly 1 and Spider-Man Clone Saga 1 were big time whales. They were really expensive and hard to get, and they finally reprinted them so I could actually finally have them in my collection, because I wasn't going to pay $400 or $500 or $600 or $1,000 or whatever they got up to for these books. And yeah, I saw that they were coming out, and ooh, look, mine's got a little, whatever. If my omnibuses aren't in like absolutely perfect condition, it used to really bother me, but I want them to be in good condition. Don't get me wrong. Like if a book comes and it's like really messed up, I will send it back. But like this, you know, it doesn't bother me that much. I think the best thing about omnibuses isn't just how they look on your shelf. It's being able to read them. It's, you know, once you come up with a good way of actually holding these when you read them, that's another complaint a lot of people have about omnis, is that like they're hard to read because they're so big and heavy. Well, I have my strategies. Like I use a pillow on the couch, and then when I'm walking, I have like this big book stand that I put them on. And so it's easy for me to read these, and it has everything. You know, some of these stories that are in omnibuses are like, if you were buying them in singles, it would be hard to read all the singles in the exact correct order and correct mapping. All that's been done for you in omnibuses. Someone has sat there and said, this is the order of events, that these comics happen in this order, and they compile it all and they put it all in a nice hardcover book for you to read a whole event or run or whatever in order. So I kind of went off on a tangent here, but I think omnibuses are just a great format. That is, so what I'm saying is, it doesn't bother me that much if I have a few dings on my books. I just want them to be generally look good, and I want to be able to read them. I want the quality to be on the inside, you know? Now, this looks very 90s. Oh yeah. And I love like the hoodie with the cut off sleeves look for Ben Reilly Spider-Man. Oh man, I can't wait to read this. This is gonna be great. Oh, I got the Punisher. Yeah, so the other one that I was just mentioning, I got the what is this called? The direct market cover or whatever. So yeah, Clone Saga 1, another one that was like really hard to get. Oh yeah, this looks good. Oh, I haven't stressed the spine very much on this one, so I got to be careful. Oh, the art in here is even better. Venom. Oh, look at that 90s Venom. So awesome. So yeah, this is going to be just such a treat to read this. I love this era, and you know, I think part of the reason I really like the 90s comics is because I had some comics when I was a kid, and that's the art style I remember reading, like some Green Lantern stuff and stuff like that. My mom always tells the story how she had a really hard time getting me to read, which is funny because later I became, and not even comic books, like I was a big time novel reader, all through like middle school and high school. I read so many books. But one of the things that got me into reading when I was a lot younger, and I didn't want to learn, and I was kind of falling behind when it came to like learning my reading in like, you know, grade school, was reading comic books. So some of my first memories of things that I read that I really enjoyed were comic books, and they were in the 90s. So it's like a nostalgia thing for me. And I think I'm right about this being in the 90s. You know, I could be wrong here. Let me see. This is going to tell me 93. So yeah, I think this is mostly from the 90s. So yeah, super excited to read this. The Volume 2 for Clone Saga and the Volume 2 for Ben Reilly are both coming up, and I'm going to be pre-ordering both of those so I can have the full thing and I can literally just read through 4 awesome era omnibuses in a row, and it's Spider-Man. So Spider-Man's just an amazing character to read. One of Stan Lee's best ideas, I think. All right, and the last thing is the polls. All right, so I haven't bought any singles. I've been collecting Pokemon cards for a few months, and I've been spending way too much money on it. But this is, I have a 151 binder here as well, actually. So here, I'll show that first. This is everything that I've pulled in terms of Pokemon cards over the short time I've been collecting. So I'm just gonna flip through these real quick. I love this gold Mew. That's one of my favorite cards in this whole set. I like the gold cards a lot. They're not always looked at as like the most valuable cards. But to me, the gold cards are always like a top chase in the set for me. And now we're down to like some of the promotions and regular EXs and stuff, and we got that. So that's all my like, you know, good pulls for 151. Obviously I have none of the bulk is in here. I just have like the, you know, the pulls. When I first started collecting Pokemon cards, which again was very recent, I was like, okay, I'm gonna like get the master set. I'm gonna collect every card from these sets. But I did not realize how much of a financial commitment that was. This is Obsidian Flames. And I kind of just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna put these in the binder. I'm not gonna put every single reverse and every single, I have all the bulk just like sitting behind me right now, and it's probably gonna stay there. I don't think I'm gonna try to assemble master sets. I'm just gonna try to get the cards that the chase cards out of the sets that I think are really cool, and if along the way I get some other, you know, really cool cards that are just part of the collection. That I'm you know, I'm very happy with that. So I get excited every time I pull these cards, even when it's just a normal EX. This is Crown Zenith. So we got the Mewtwo there. We got this Mew. I like this Mew card a lot. I got 3 of them. I like this one. I think this is pretty cool. Put all the Pikachus together over here. And then you got all the Leafeons and Glaceon, and this Paris is cool. I like this one, this rainbow, what is it? Keldeo? I don't know. Then what else we got here? This is Paradox Rift. This is the only set that I've pulled the most valuable card in, that Roaring Moon. At least it was the most valuable card in the set when I pulled it. Sometimes it changes, but I have more Paradox Rift. I have a booster box right here that I'm going to be opening. And some more Pokemon cards coming. Here's some of the rest of the Paradox Rift stuff. Now, what are these other sets? This is Lost Origin. I have another Lost Origin booster box coming. So Lost Origin is one of those sets where, man, there are so many like cards in the set. There's so many full arts and special illustrations and EXs, or not EXs, but like V and V Star, all that crap, rainbows. My little amount of knowledge kind of shows when I talk about Pokemon, but yeah, Lost Origin is a really good set. I'm gonna buy more Lost Origin, and I kind of want to keep buying more while it's still relatively cheap. Was this Fusion Strike? I think there's Fusion Strike. What is this? This is, I don't remember. This is Scarlet Violet base, which I think I got the card I wanted most in the set right there, is the Miraidon, the gold Miraidon. And this was Brilliant Stars. I just bought a booster box of this, and I did not get a lot of pulls with Brilliant Stars. So it's the only rainbow card I ever pulled though. But it made me think, like, I'm not so sure that I want to get more Brilliant Stars. I mean, that was a really low pull rate, and I don't remember where I got that one from. But yeah, those are all the pulls for Pokemon so far. Oh wait, actually, there's a few more. I have the new set. What's it called again? Paldean Fates. So I pulled the Iona, a couple of the Mews. I really like these Mews. We got some of the shiny Pokemon here. This freaking Charizard's in every set for some reason. I like the Alakazam. So I haven't put these in the binder yet, but I have more of these coming. I have more not Fusion Strike. I have more Paldean Fates coming. I'm opening 2 boxes with my brother. I'm gonna make a video of that tomorrow, and then I have another 2 coming. So yeah, that's been exciting. And yeah, I think that's all the ranting I want to do today. So I hope you enjoyed, and please leave a like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.